The Norfolk Broads, I always think of an absolutely magical area. We've got 125 miles of navigable rivers and 44 broads, which are the small lakes which are scattered throughout. And the Broads itself have a wonderful character which changes as the years go by and as the seasons follow each other. A lot of people only know the Broads in the summer when they're a wonderful place to relax and enjoy boating on the river. But in the winter, they become quite a wild, desolate area. The sort of place where strange things can happen, and strange things do happen. I'm Chris Crowther. I write books here in my home in Houghton, Norfolk. We built this home by the river 22 years ago, and this is where I do all my writing. In the summer, it's spent out on the river, either rowing or sailing, and forming the plots for my story. I was lucky enough to have a sister who was 8 years older than me. She took it upon herself to teach me to read before I even started school. To me, books were like a magic carpet that could take me anywhere in the world. When I was 8 years old, my sister bought me my first Biggles book. This pilot who went around the world having adventures with his mates. Not only was I inspired by the character of Biggles, but also by his creator, Captain W.E. Johns, who'd been a pilot in the First World War. I thought, if you can do that, have adventures flying, and then write stories about them afterwards, that's a pretty good way to live. It was my wife's idea, actually, to have stories set on the Norfolk Broads. And I thought, well, probably the best thing that lends itself to is a murder mystery. And patrolling the Norfolk Broads, we have what's called navigation rangers. They're the sort of police of the Broads. So I made my key character, Jack Fellows, a navigation ranger. He is an ex-policeman, ex-detective superintendent. So even in his navigation ranger duties, he's got that old police instinct of looking out for wrongdoing and strange things happening. The stories involving Jack, although they are murder mysteries and there is always a murder in every story, there's also, I hope, a little element of humour. They're more Midsomer Murders afloat, if you'd like to put it. My latest, Backwaters, has just been published. It's the 8th in the Jack Fellows murder mystery series. A few years ago, my dear wife bought me a trip in a hot air balloon as a birthday present, and I thought it was a wonderful experience, so I thought there's ingredients there for a story. In 1785, a local chap who lived in Trouse near Norwich, called John Money, a retired major from the army, decided he wanted to raise money for the Norfolk Norwich Hospital, and to do that he'd make a long-distance flight in a balloon. It didn't go completely to plan, and it was quite an adventurous trip in itself, and in my story they're going to do a reenactment of that flight, again to raise money for the Norfolk Norwich Hospital. As always, Jack Fellows is the key character. He's the sleuth in the story, spotting something that's a bit strange and then trying to suss it and try and work out what's actually happened here. When we wrote our first Jack Fellows story, we published it ourselves like we've done with all the other books since. Initially, I actually just went around a few shops selling the book myself, but in the end it takes up quite a bit of time, and as more and more shops started taking my books, I needed someone else to actually look after that side. I'm very happy now that Bittern Books take care of all that for me. It's very, very difficult in this day and age to get any book published by a mainline publisher. But if you do write a book and you're happy with the result, trying to look after the side of marketing and distribution is very complex. I mean, I probably initially had a half a dozen shops selling my stories. I'm not sure now how many the books appear in, but certainly selling many, many more than I ever did before. So Bittern Books have got a wide distribution network, and it's wonderful to be able to take advantage of that. You know, if the book is up to scratch, they're going to find the readership to buy that book. You concentrate on writing the story, and let someone that knows all about distribution look after that side. Every book I write, I say, right, that's the last one, and then I immediately start thinking of another plot. I think everybody wants to do something creative. I think everybody at the end of their lives wants to think, well, there's something left behind which I've created. I wish I could build boats or build houses. I'm not that sort of person. Words are the only creative thing I do, but at least I hope when the time comes to cross the river, there'll be a few books left behind there to mark my passage.